Authentic Pesto Genovese requires a very specific type of basil that only grows near Genoa, and blenders? Well, ask a local and they'll tell you blenders absolutely ruin it. Picture this: bright green basil, rich, nutty cheese, vibrant olive oil, and a fragrance that literally transports you straight to the Italian Riviera. It seems super simple, right? But behind this iconic sauce is centuries of deep tradition, intense regional pride, and frankly, one of the biggest authenticity debates in all of Italian cooking. So in today's explainer, we're diving into what actually goes into the real deal, why the traditional method is absolutely crucial, and how you can create it perfectly yourself. So walk into almost any supermarket in the world, and you're gonna see glass jars labeled pesto sitting in the aisles. It's everywhere. But according to many Italians, especially the purists up in northern Italy, most of those jars aren't actually pesto at all. It kind of forces us to ask a pretty serious question: is your pesto real? So the authentic version comes from this beautiful, small stretch of coastline in northern Italy, and it plays by a very strict set of rules. No cream, zero spinach, absolutely no parsley, and definitely no high-speed food processors. That is a completely different world from the imposter ingredients you'll usually find whipped together in those supermarket versions. Okay, to truly get why these rules are so uncompromising, we have to trace it back to the port city of Genoa in the Liguria region. Fun fact, the word pesto doesn't actually mean basil sauce. It comes directly from the Italian verb pestare, which literally translates to crush or to pound. Long before anyone even dreamed of electric blenders, cooks in Genoa were using heavy marble mortars and wooden pestles to physically grind these ingredients into a paste. The manual, hand-crushed method is literally baked right into the name of the dish. And then there's the star ingredient, which has this incredible geographic magic behind it. You can't just grab any old basil off the shelf. Authentic Pesto Genovese demands Genovese basil. Why? Because it's grown right along the Ligurian coast. The specific climate there, mixed with that salty coastal sea air, creates leaves that are incredibly sweet and delicate. If you take that exact seed and plant it somewhere else, the flavor totally changes. You need that specific Ligurian terroir to get the pure, sweet flavor, without those harsh minty or bitter notes you sometimes get with other basil. So if you're gearing up to make a true 4 to 6 serving batch, the shopping list is locked in, and nothing else belongs in the mix. You need 50 grams of fresh basil leaves, 30 grams of pine nuts, 2 cloves of garlic, 60 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano, and 20 grams of Pecorino Romano to balance out the flavor. Add to that 100 milliliters of really good extra virgin olive oil and just a pinch of sea salt. That's it. 7 ingredients. The whole shebang. No exceptions, no weird additions. Now, making it isn't just tossing everything into a bowl. It's a beautifully precise process. First up, the foundation. You want to wash your basil gently and then dry it thoroughly. Seriously, don't skip the drying. Excess water will totally ruin the texture and dilute the flavor. Those leaves need to stay vibrant. Next, drop your garlic and salt into the mortar and crush them into a nice, smooth paste. Then toss in your pine nuts and crush them down until the whole mixture gets creamy and slightly oily. You're basically coaxing out all those amazing essential oils by hand. Once that foundation is looking creamy, we move into the emulsion phase. Now, whatever you do, don't just dump all 50 grams of basil in at once. Add the leaves little by little using a slow, circular grinding motion against the marble. As the leaves break down, the smell is just, wow, fresh, sweet, herbal. It's like pure Liguria filling up your kitchen. Next, you gently mix in both the Parmigiano and Pecorino, which gives it this perfect sweet and salty balance. Finally, just slowly drizzle in your olive oil while stirring. It shouldn't be a puree. It's a smooth, slightly textured living sauce. All right, now for the grand finale, bringing the sauce and pasta together. Get a pot of salted water boiling. In Liguria, they pair pesto with specific regional pastas like trophy, linguine, or trinettes, cooked perfectly al dente. But listen closely, because here is the absolute golden rule. You have to reserve a splash of that starchy pasta water. Put your fresh pesto in a separate bowl, add the pasta water, and then toss your hot pasta with the sauce entirely off the heat. Never, ever cook your pesto over a direct flame. It'll destroy it. Plate it up immediately with a sprinkle of extra cheese, a few fresh basil leaves, and a drizzle of oil to keep everything looking vibrantly green. So let's quickly touch on how people usually mess this up. First off, heating the pesto. Like we just said, heat immediately kills that fresh basil flavor you just worked so hard to get. Second, using way too much garlic. Garlic is just a supporting character here. It shouldn't completely hijack your palate.
Third, blending too aggressively. Even if you do cheat and use a food processor, overprocessing creates mechanical heat that oxidizes the basil and turns it dark, brown, and bitter. And finally, skipping the good olive oil. Literally half of the flavor profile of this sauce comes from the oil. Cheap oil equals cheap-tasting pesto. Simple as that.
When you finally sit down and take a bite, honestly, the difference is just staggering. It's a real game changer. The aroma hits you first. That fresh basil, the nutty pine nuts, the sharp aged cheese, and the texture? It is worlds away from anything you'd scoop out of a jar. It's softer, infinitely more delicate, and just completely alive. It's this amazing sensory experience that makes you instantly realize why the people of Liguria defend this recipe so fiercely. Because in Liguria, pesto is way more than just something you put on pasta. It's their heritage. It's a defining symbol of their regional identity. Families have their own little secret techniques that they pass down through generations. Local restaurants brag about their handmade, mortar-crushed pesto. They even host these intense local championships to crown the best pesto maker. For Italians, pesto genovese is the ultimate proof that just a few simple, high-quality ingredients can create something truly extraordinary. So after breaking all of this down, I've got to ask, are you team mortar or team blender? Now that you know the history, the chemistry, and the strict rules behind it, would you be willing to spend 10 minutes doing the manual labor to taste pure Liguria? Or, be honest, are you still reaching for the food processor? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this explainer, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we keep exploring the world's most iconic dishes. Keep exploring, keep cooking, and we'll see you next time.